Howdy, my name is Tate Pilot, and I will be giving an informative speech on the Herculaneum scrolls. Imagine uncovering a library of ancient texts that are charred and brittle from the eruption of Mount Vesuvius nearly 2,000 years ago. Until very recently, the secrets in these scrolls have been inaccessible to us, as they've been reduced to charcoal from the volcanic eruption. Though, through some recent technological advances, their words are being brought back to life and have the potential to vastly expand our knowledge on ancient history, philosophy, and classical life as we know it. So, today, I'll be covering three main points: the history and discovery of the Herculaneum scrolls, the technological advances used to unroll, decipher, and translate them, and what we have learned and the information we've gained so far from these scrolls. So, many of us have heard about the catastrophic eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. We've heard of the absolute destruction of Pompeii and the surrounding communities. One of those nearby communities was a wealthy Roman town called Herculaneum. In 1750, a farm worker who was actually digging a well discovered the buried remains of a villa in Herculaneum thought to be owned by Julius Caesar's father-in-law, Lucius Piso. At the Vesuvius Challenge website at www.scrollprize.org, you can find a picture of an artist rendering of the villa. This is what the villa was thought to have looked like in ancient times. Again, you can find that picture at the Vesuvius Challenge website. So during some excavations during the 1700s of this villa, a library was found containing nearly 1,000 ancient papyrus scrolls. This is a photo, again, from the same Vesuvius website at www.scrollprize.org. This is one of the scrolls that was found. As you can see, it's completely carbonized, just charcoal from the eruption. So, in the 1990s, it was discovered that the Villa of Papyri was much larger than originally thought. The original library found happened to just be an office, or a working library of an Epicurean philosopher, Philodermus, and that the villa's main library is likely on an unexcavated floor just waiting to be found. The main library could have thousands, if not 10,000s more ancient papyrus scrolls. So, again, nearly all of our understanding of ancient Greek and Roman culture is based on texts originally written on papyrus scrolls and then copied and reproduced in the Middle Ages. It's said that 99% of original texts have been lost and only a tiny fraction remain. This makes the library at the Villa of the Papyri the largest and only intact library from the classical era. If only we could find a way to read these scrolls. So, again, there were some early attempts on reading these scrolls. Most of the early attempts resulted in the scrolls' destruction. Some methods included cutting them in half and painstakingly peeling them back layer by layer to get fragments to decipher. Some methods included gassing them or using chemicals on them. Small fragments were the only thing gained from these attempts. So, more than 250 years after these scrolls were discovered, a very recent technological advances have finally given us the ability to read these scrolls without physically damaging them. Scholars have used infrared, thermal imaging, X-ray tomography, and machine learning to do this. Brent Seals, a computer scientist at the University of Kentucky, has spent years working on this problem. His technique involves using digital scanning with computerized tomography, similar to a CT scan used in hospitals or the medical field. He developed a software to virtually unroll the scrolls without damaging them, and then he trained artificial intelligence, AI, algorithms to recognize the letters on the open scrolls and translate them. In March 2023, Brent Seals paired up with two tech entrepreneurs to launch the Vesuvius Challenge, which can be found at www.scrollprize.org. They offered more than $1 million in prize money, and just to reach a series of goals or milestones in deciphering these scrolls. As a result of the recent advantages and innovations, we are now able to read portions of these scrolls which were previously thought were lost to human history. So, some results and translations that we've gained. The first word that was actually translated in 2023 was purple in ancient Greek. Later in 2023, nearly 2,000 words, several passages of text, were deciphered and translated. The scroll appears to be written by the same Epicurean philosopher Philodermus, which we have found his working office or library, so it makes sense. In these scrolls just contained his musings on music and food and just other life pleasures. Only 5% of this scroll has been deciphered. This year, the Vesuvius Challenge is to finish deciphering the rest of that scroll along with 3 others that have already been virtually unrolled. And finally, and most recently, just described just last month in Jennifer Ouellette's Ars Technica article, the burial place of philosopher and scientist Plato has been revealed, along with other new details of his life that we had no clue existed. So again, I hope I have been able just to convey how remarkable this is. Because of recent technological advances, we can now read these ancient texts previously lost to us in the devastating eruption of Mount Vesuvius, nearly 2,000 years ago. The information we learn from these scrolls will greatly expand our knowledge of ancient culture, history, and philosophy. I highly recommend that you visit the Vesuvius Challenge website at www.scrollprize.org and learn more about the attempts to decipher the Herculaneum scrolls. Who knows what we're going to learn next? Thank you so much.